Yo guys, in today's video, it's the Z-Hat here and we're going to be discussing what actions you need to take before you buy a PlayStation Vita in 2025 and what you should be considering before you buy a PlayStation Vita in 2025. So let's crack on. Firstly, you need to decide what console do you want. There's two PlayStation Vitas. There's the PlayStation Vita 1000, which we have on my right hand side here. And on the left hand side, we've got the PlayStation Vita Slim, also known as the PlayStation Vita 2000. You'd be asking what's the difference aside from the colors. Well, the PlayStation Vita 1000, also known as the OLED, has an OLED screen, so it's got brighter colors and it's got clearer visuals when you're playing games. It's also quite substantially heavier than the PlayStation Vita Slim, and it's got a more premium design with the silver outline. It's also got an array of colors, so it doesn't only come in black. If you like red, there's orange, there's blue, there's quite a few colors that you can get the PlayStation Vita 1000 in. So if you want something that feels a bit heavier in your hand or something with a better and clearer screen, I would go for the OLED. And I do think it is the better console just for that reason. But my main PlayStation Vita is the PlayStation Vita Slim or 2000, as I told you guys before. On the left hand side, it's got a plasticky feeling, but they've still kind of made it feel premium. It's got a really nice design at the back as well. This is my favorite thing about the PS Vita Slim. So design wise, if you're looking for something that looks really nice, this is the PS Vita for you. It's got really nice buttons, and like I said, it is a very light console and it's got an LED screen, so it's not going to be as good as the PlayStation Vita OLED. But if you mod it, you can get different plugins which will allow you to kind of customize what your screen looks like, so like contrast, saturation and everything. So you're not really capped when you've got a PS Vita Slim. There's a lot more you can do with the screen to try and bring it closer to the OLED, I can say, but the OLED's always going to be better in terms of screen. But the PS Vita Slim also comes in a plethora of colors as well. But I just got blue because I thought it was like the coolest looking one on Amazon back in the day. So what's next to decide? I'm going to disperse these two beautiful consoles and I'm going to bring through my physical games. You may be asking, if I've got a modded PS Vita on the left hand side, what am I doing with physical games? Well, that's a valid question, and to answer that, I'm going to say that I got my PS Vita Slim back in 2015, so I'm only now new to the modding community. So I've had my PS Vita for a while, but it's only like 10 years later that I've decided to mod it. So I already have I was going to say an extensive list of physical games, but it's not really extensive. I kind of have a bunch of physical games, I should say. You kind of got some rare ones in there, like Epic Mickey 2, an English version of Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Z. Then you've got The Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm a massive Andrew Garfield fan, so I've got this on a lot of consoles. But anyway, to stay on topic, what you need to ask yourself is, will I be modding a PS Vita that I get, or will I be buying physical games? Will I be collecting? And that question is important because if you mod your PS Vita, like I have on the left-hand side, you're not really going to need to collect physical games, just because the physical games you will be collecting, you can basically get for free on a homebrew app called PKGJ, which is basically a store where you can download most PSP games. As you see here, there's like hundreds of them. And then if I press triangle for menu, head over to PS1 games, I can download a bunch of PS1 games as well. And I press triangle for the third time and I go over to show games. It shows me the PS Vita games that I can download, and all of these games that you see here, you will be able to download for free digitally. So if you're going to mod your PS Vita, then don't collect physically. But if you don't really want to mod your PS Vita and you're really into like physical game preservation and really into collecting, then I would say by all means, there's no problem with collecting physical games. Like, I understand the dopamine that one can get when they receive a physical game in the mail and you unbox it and you open it up and then you take out the game cartridge and you slot it into the PS Vita. The other reason why buying physical games whilst modding the PS Vita wouldn't really make sense is because with a modded PS Vita, you get access to something called an S2D Vita. So you have to buy this on Amazon, and I bought a 256 gigabyte one. So these go in the game card slot, so you won't actually be able to put the physical game into here. So that's why it's kind of null and void. But with a modded PS Vita, you can bypass Sony's expensive proprietary memory cards. So I got a 256 gigabyte S2D Vita for £20, whereas maybe an 8 gigabyte PlayStation Vita card from Sony was going for like £30 at one point. So you guys can see that like, it makes so much more sense to mod a PS Vita and buy a 256 or however many gigabyte memory card that you want, as opposed to not modding your PS Vita like I did at first, just because I didn't know how to and I was content with how I had my games. So what I had before was just a normal, I had this and it was not modded, and I had all these games, and I had an 8 gigabyte proprietary memory card, which was very expensive, and I couldn't have all of these games on my PS Vita at the same time. So I had to chop and change. I had to maybe have 1, 2, 3, or 4 at one time, and then if I wanted to play another one, I'd have to delete one, and it's just very inconvenient. So just factor that in. But like, there's nothing wrong with collecting physical games because they are really cool. And just on that note, I'm gonna head over to Retroflow Launcher, which is a really cool homebrew, which like kind of organizes your games plural into a minimalistic view. And as I remember, I told you guys these are all the games I have, and I had like maybe 5 on my PS Vita at once because of the memory and the storage. Because of the 256 gigabyte memory card, I've now got 46 different PS Vita games on my system at once. So I'm just going to scroll through them for you. As you may see, I do have some of the physical ones on here. Like I said, I can't put these in, but instead I've just downloaded them off PKGJ, which I showed you guys. So I've got a plethora of games that I've never actually played, always wanted to, but now have the opportunity to, which is just really cool. And if I press square and square again, I go over to PSP games. So I've got 76 overall. So I've got 30 PSP games, and I missed out on the PSP generation and PS1 generation. So being able to mod my PS Vita, go back and play these games is just like really cool for me. On top of that, you get to play actual ports. So I'm going to head over to Vita DVD downloader, and you get to play games like Ultimate Spider-Man, which is the first Spider-Man game I ever played. But bear in mind, you're going to have to, you can't download port of PKGJ. You can, but you actually need to like import files from your PC. So just to go over to Vita DB downloader to show you guys the ports that you can download. Patience is a virtue. So just gonna wait. If I go to search, go to Cup, you get to download Cuphead, which I know is a really popular gaming franchise. And as you see in the top corner, it's got 88,480 downloads. Then you had Ultimate Spider-Man, which I showed you guys, which is a mobile port. Which, how cool is that? And then we've got Sonic Unleashed, which is another really cool game. So there's just so much you can do with a modded PS Vita that you can't do with a normal PS Vita. But there's nothing wrong if you want to have a modded PS Vita and have physical games. If you wanted to have a normal PS Vita and not mod, because I did that for a while and I still found it awesome. But yeah, one more thing I wanted to touch on with you guys in regards to PlayStation Vita. So like, before you purchase or once you purchase, this could be to new Vita users or current Vita users or old Vita users, always try and get involved in the PlayStation Vita community because it's massive. So I'm going to head over to our Vita, and I'd say your best bet is to use Reddit. And what this allows you to do is interact with a community of PlayStation Vita users, which totals 155,000. And you get to just do anything from engage in monthly games that everyone comes together and plays. You can trophy boost together. So if someone wants to try and obtain a platinum trophy in one game on PS Vita, the community kind of comes together and you guys can like try and go for the trophies together. Or even you guys could just end up playing games together, and you can just like find people talking about the PlayStation Vita every day. So problems that occur, you can go and ask, and people have been through these problems and they can help you. Like, we've even got, what game do you think was the perfect fit for the console? And I've never seen this game before, but it's the first time I'm seeing it. So like I said, guys, it just kind of opens you up to new possibilities. And that is probably one of the major things that doesn't get talked about. Being a part of the community, engaging with everyone. See, look, I need help with the diamonds to you trophy in Minecraft, and someone's dropped their PlayStation username. So that's just how it happens. That's how you find other people in the PlayStation community. And to quickly show you guys, if you jump over to Vita Piracy, which is another PlayStation Vita subreddit, it totals 136,000 members, which is almost as big as the Vita subreddit, the original one. So this subreddit is if you decide to mod your PS Vita. So we had two sides to the video. And look, so there's a step-by-step guide on how to hack your PS Vita. This was subreddit was important for me because it kind of like opened my eyes, and it helped me kind of like make the final decision on modding my PS Vita, because I saw a bunch of really cool things here that I just see. Look, you got I think that's Super Mario Bros. You just have like people really sharing their thoughts on the modded side of the PlayStation Vita. People share like game files for downloads and everything. So yeah, just get involved in everything, and like the community is amazing. Just be nice, be friendly, and dive in. And peace out, guys. Like I said before, you guys are amazing, and thank you for 400 subscribers. Peace out.